Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss VirusTotal and how it can be used to analyze files prior to opening them. Files can include Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, or other Office files, PDF files, or even executables or software. Now, one recommendation I want to make: when you're navigating to a website or searching for a company's website or company information, always use a trusted search engine. Even if you know how to spell the website address correctly, type it in a trusted search engine, because hackers are always waiting for us to make a mistake and spell something incorrectly, such as Google with two O's and two G's, or Apple with two L's. And they could go out and create a website that's close to the one you're trying to get to. And if it's malicious, you may end up downloading malware and infecting your computer just because you were in a hurry and made a typo. So, for example, today we're going to discuss VirusTotal. Now you can see, you know that you can use your address bar of most browsers to use it as a search tool. Now in most of them, however, as you see in the example I have here, it auto-populates if I've been to the website before. And you may want to hit enter here, but I always caution people to go ahead and backspace and remove the last three letters, .com, .org, or .net. Because what happens if I accidentally typed it incorrectly previously? Now, unless there's other security components on your network or in your computer, if I were to type virustotal.com and if that website exists and I hit enter, I'm going to navigate to that website. And if it happens to have malicious content, my computer may be instantly infected. So we're going to type VirusTotal, and our results are going to come back and show us the website that we're intended to get to, and that is virustotal.com. So another example would be, so I type VirusTotal with two S's. I hit enter, and again, it shows the website that I really want to go to. Now, if I typed VirusTotal, like I said earlier, if this website existed and was created by a hacker and I hit enter, again, if there isn't other security things in place to prevent that, I will navigate to this website. So the best thing, always remove that and just type the word or company you're trying to get to. Now, on the same note, the reason why we say do not try to guess, even if you, or type the address, even if you know the spelling, is somebody at work may have told you, hey, you should check out virustotal.org or virustotal.net. You're able to scan files to see if they're malicious. Well, we see here the website's actually virustotal.com, not .net or .org. And I've actually had friends at work tell me the incorrect website. So let my mistakes or failures be something you can learn from. So one thing, when you type in a company name, what you're looking for is evidence that it's a legitimate website. Such as here you see VirusTotal and there's categories on the website. Over to the right, you're going to see some information about the company. You may also see, if it's like a retail store or something, you'll see the stock symbol, the CEO, the year it was established. You may see some information from, like, if there's an app for the company or whatever, you may see it. You're going to see Wikipedia, different things. So you're just looking for something to give you a warm fuzzy that this is a legitimate website. Now you can check out my other video that explains how you can analyze URLs or websites in VirusTotal prior to visiting them. But back to this, the point of this video, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to VirusTotal. Now, what is VirusTotal? Why would we want to use it? What benefit do I get from it? Well, in layman's terms, VirusTotal is the equivalent of having over 60 different pieces of antivirus or anti-malware software installed on your computer. So antivirus or anti-malware software from over 60 different companies. Now, you don't want to install that many on your computer, trust me. So this is a way to see if a file not only passes whatever antivirus or anti-malware you may have installed on your computer, but check it against other databases as well. And the best part, this is free. So now let's go ahead and pick a file. So previously I downloaded Wireshark. This is a well-known piece of software that many people in IT use. So it's definitely something that's been around on the internet. So let me go ahead and click open, and you're going to see that it's computing a hash value. Now, without going into detail about what a hash value is, let's just say, again in layman's terms, that that's how the computer knows what file this is or what makes up this file. So let's go ahead and go to details. So what are we looking for when we go to, because you may see all green right here and think, oh, I'm good. Well, we need to look at a few things first. So first, let's go to the details page. And let's go down to the history section. Now, I've seen some of these dates here that seem to be a little off, like everything says 2017, but maybe one of these top two say 2010. So without going into detail, if you see an outlier that just looks crazy, I would ignore it. But in this case, we see that 2016 was the first time that this file was seen in the wild. And the first time it was analyzed was on over a month ago at the time of this recording. Now, here's an example of that would explain hash values a little more. This file, I've downloaded Wireshark. If I were to rename this, and I can add whatever I want in here, Bob's Wireshark, and it may show up here and say Bob's Wireshark. Now, even though someone's renamed the file, they all equal this hash value. Now, if I were to download this executable, this piece of software, and I changed the code and I added some malicious content, I repackaged it and I uploaded it on a random website, and then you came along and you downloaded this file, and if you were to scan it in VirusTotal, the hash value would be different. And you would not see these other file names unless, of course, somebody downloaded the file I had modified and changed the name. So, when we look at the details page, we want to see that the file has been around on the internet for a while. What we don't want to see is that the first submission, the first time it's been seen in the wild, and the last submission are all the exact date and time that we are uploading the file. That would be a red flag. But the fact that it's been around the internet for over a month, that's definitely an indicator that this could be an okay file. All right. I actually do look for multiple file names. I just like to see if there's other file names that are way different. So if we saw Wireshocks, and then we saw Bob's Uploader or malicious uploader or something crazy, that would be a red flag. But all these names are similar. So, okay, I'm not really concerned here. We're scrolling down. Now that we know that Wireshark is a piece of software, a well-known piece of software from a well-known company or organization. So I'm hoping to see that it is it's a signed file and it's a valid signature. So that is another positive sign. The description says Wireshark installer for 64-bit Windows. Well, that's good because that's what I intended to download. When you scroll down a little more, you see that the digital signer is Wireshark Foundation, which is the company that makes this piece of software. So all of this is painting a picture for us. The signer is who we expected it to be, the company that made the software. The description is what we expected it to be. It's a signed file and it's a valid signature. There's no crazy file names in here that are not related to the software I downloaded. The file has been seen in the wild previously, and it's been the first analyze, or the first analysis, I should say, the first submission was over a month ago. So now I'm going to go to the community section. Now you have to take this with a grain of salt. But what we're kind of looking for is just anything that looks weird, like somebody saying this is definite malware or pointing you to a website that says it's definite malware. So in this aspect, we see 100% clean, which this person could be the person that created the virus and uploaded to VirusTotal. So again, you're just looking for red flags to help build your profile, but you can't trust the information on this tab all by itself. So you can see somebody else said, hey, I downloaded it via wireshark.org. It's good. Payload Security is a well-known security vendor, and you could look at the analysis of this file on their website. So we see no red flags here. We see no red flags on detail. We go to the detection, and it's all clean. So would I open this file? Well, it depends. And I say I would open it because I personally downloaded this file from Wireshark. I know it's a well-known piece of software, and I downloaded it directly from the company's website. So I personally took the steps to know where the file came from and that it came from a trusted source. So let's go to another example. And we're going to use this one next. Now, securecommunication.doc. Now, some of y'all may have seen this at work, and hopefully you didn't click on it. This is a well-known tool used by hackers, spammers, or phishers, whatever you want to call them. So you may get an email in your inbox that says, hey, here's a secure document that I need you to look at. Some of the emails even include a password to make it look more official, which, step number one, if you truly want to send something secure, you don't include the password in the same exact email as the file. That's just a little tip on a side note. But back to this. So this email was sent, and this was one of the attachments. Now let's go to so let's say you did download this file, and you're like, let me analyze it with VirusTotal first to see what I see. Well, obviously you could sit right here and see all these marked as malicious or malware. 38 out of 59 says it's malicious. Obviously, I'd stop right there and wouldn't open it. But let's go ahead and see what else we can learn so we can use it for future reference. When I go to the details section, you can see here, here's what I meant by one of the outliers. Now, without going into major detail, this video will be long enough as it is. It could be something that this file was on somebody's computer and all they did was edit the file, and it just kept the same date as the original file that they used. So whatever, ignore that date in this case. But you see the creation time, the first submission, the last submission, and the last analysis. They're all right about the same time. Now, what happened here is maybe 20 days later, somebody else, the email made another round, or somebody just happened to check their email and was like, whoa, what is this? Let me go analyze it. But the point is, it's very close. They're all very close. So this file is just brand new on the internet for all intents purposes. Here's what I say by file names looking for red flags. Just one file name. To me, it's a little strange when I see just one file name on something that's valid. But okay, let's continue. When you see here, you'll see may try to run other files or shell commands or applications. Seems to contain deobfuscation code. Makes use of macros. Now, this is a Word document. And more than likely, the email said something to the effect of, there's a information in the attached document, or your, I don't know, your inventory is in the attached document. Well, there's no reason for there to be macros, and there's no reason for shell commands or other applications to be ran by the Word document. So those are red flags. If you would have downloaded this file and opened it, you would have been asked to enable macros, which again is a red flag. And if you go to my real world example section of my website, you'll see examples of this. But let's go ahead and continue. And there's some other information down here that's going to show you more in depth. And if you're an IT pro, a lot of this will make sense to you. But let's go back up and let's go to the Relations tab. So you can see right here it was sent in an email, and it was detected as malicious, and it was in like a gzip file. Now, sometimes hackers will put things in a zip file and email them to you, because if you're in a corporation, corporations block certain file types and via email because they know that hackers use them to send malware. So what hackers do is they take that file type that your company doesn't allow, puts it in a zip file, and then sends it to you. So if you're not expecting a zip file, you should never open it. You should contact the person that sent it to you via an alternate method. So if it came in email, you should reach out to them via phone if you know the person or are familiar with them. Don't trust just because it's somebody you know that they meant to send it. Have they sent you a zip file before? That should be the first question you ask. But it could be that your friend or your coworker had their email hacked or compromised. So the hacker has used their email to send malware to all of the people in their contacts list because somebody's going to trust that, oh, this is my friend or coworker. I'm going to go ahead and just open this. That's why you reach out via an alternate method such as a phone. Because if a hacker has control of their email and you respond back via email, am I supposed to open this? Well, the hacker could say, oh, definitely. So anyway, you see some red flags here. We're going to go to the community section. You see 4 unsafe votes. Again, Payload Security, which is a well-known company. You can see right here that it actually is reaching out to this website. Well, in this case, even if you're not an IT expert or a security expert, you could look here and you'll see, well, okay, did I get this email from UPS or FedEx? Well, why would the email be reaching out to this website? It has nothing to do with the company that emailed it to me. So a red flag, but again, in this case, it could actually be something where somebody claimed to be from this company and emailed you the file. But anyway, that's something to look at to see if you see a definite mismatch, such as this. And you see other people down here have commented that it's a doc downloader, evasive by Payload Security. So anyway, we could have stopped at detection, but I wanted to show you some different stuff in the Details and Relations tab. The next example, I am going to use this one. So this file name says Java Update Scheduler. Well, all of us get Java updates all the time. So should we be checking that? Well, depends on how you get the file. If you visited a website and you got a strange pop-up and it said, hey, you need to update Java, and you downloaded it that way, I would go to VirusTotal and scan it. Actually, I would navigate to Java's website and download Java from the company who makes Java, not from some other website that's just telling you need to update Java. But in this case, Java update, that's something we all know. So let's upload the file to VirusTotal and let's see. Obviously, again, 48 out of 65 say it's bad. We can stop right here, but let's learn. You go down, you look at history. Again, obscure date, but you see here the creation time and the last submission, first submission. All of this stuff right here is just too close together. That's a red flag when it's a brand new file on the internet. Now, if it was the second when you downloaded this file, maybe Java updated their application that day. So could be possible that you were the first one to VirusTotal to analyze it. Unless you got it in a few hours, probably not likely. If you stumbled onto the updater and you've a couple days after it's been updated, there should be other submissions in place. So here's what we say by file names and why I look at them. This is a total obscure file name. Has nothing to do with Java Update Scheduler. And this is usually what the Java files is called, but you can see that this is nowhere related to what everything is claiming to be, which is a Java update. So red flag. Here's another good example. This file is not signed. Well, Java is a well-known application from a well-known company. This would be signed by the company in most cases. So the fact that it isn't signed is a red flag. So even though the description matches what we think it is, which is a Java update, there's other red flags that we've seen that's kind of make us take a step back and think twice. We go to the behavior section, and you can see some random stuff here that does not belong with the Java update scheduler. Now we go here, Zerophage is a well-known security researcher, and they said this is a RigEK. Now you can go search RigEK on the internet and you'll learn that it's basically an exploit kit. But at any rate, the fact that there's something written here and it's an unsafe vote, this could lead you to research more if you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to open this file. But I think there's enough indicators just based on this tab alone. But when we add all the indicators from the other tabs, it's not a file you want to open. Now, here's one that says ms build execute. This could be a Microsoft file. So could be legitimate, but it depends on how you came about the file. So we go to the details section. Well, first seen in the wild back in 2009. The first submission on the internet was 2010. It was recently submitted on 8/11. So this alone, it really doesn't paint a red flag. But when we go to file names, SAS host and JU, so we just looked at the Java updater. This is very close to the Java updater. So the fact that there's two not related file names makes me take pause, and I'm going to give this a deeper look. We see it says it's signed. It's signed by the Microsoft Corporation. It says it's MS Build Execute. It even says down here that it's signed by Microsoft once again. Well, let's go to the relations. Win32 execute. So somehow this file is related to these. They're back from 2015, but again, there's negativity here, or red flags, whatever you want to say. When you look at more, here's recent stuff. And again, there's a couple of, these are red flags for sure. We go to the community page. Well, Payload Security has analyzed it. It actually says Microsoft.com. This says multiple invalid code signers. So this is saying something negative. I know if you're not an IT pro, you may think, I don't know what that means. Again, without going into detail, that's a red flag for sure. Somebody else says it's good, or you can whitelist it, which means allow it. So would I open this file? Again, it really depends on how I came about the file. If I downloaded it directly from Microsoft.com, then I would probably trust the file. If I got it from a random, if this website exists, I'm sorry, I don't go to the website, bobsstrangedownloads.com. If you downloaded it from there, I wouldn't open the file. If you got it in an email, I wouldn't open the file unless you trust the person that emailed it to you and you've reached out to them via a phone call and said, why did you send me this file? And they give you a rational explanation. So one more example here. Here's a zip file, which was sent, and I happen to know this because that's how I found this information. It was sent in an email, a phishing email, a malicious phishing email. So again, hackers will put something in a zip file to get it past the security safeguards in your network or your place of business. So now let's look at this here. I know this is malicious, and I want to discuss this real quick. Well, these are trusted. So who actually is part of VirusTotal? Well, it's trusted companies. Avast, Komodo, ClamAV, F-Secure, McAfee, Malwarebytes, so AVG. So these are all well-known companies. So if this is malicious, why do these companies say it's malicious, but the companies below do not? Well, most antivirus software that most of us have work on signature-based technology. What does that mean? Well, I don't want to go into major detail, but it's what I said earlier, where it relies on the hash value of a file. So this file right here, or when we step to the details section, we'll see if there's any other file names that relate to this hash value. Antivirus or security vendors that make antivirus or anti-malware software have to know that this file exists. They have to know it's malicious. They have to take the hash value of this file, create a signature for it, put it in their database, package it up as an update, and send it to their customers. So that's why antivirus and our security companies and security researchers and all that say to have your antivirus software automatically update. So if Bitdefender found that this was malicious at 10 o'clock in the morning, created a signature, pushed out the update at 11 o'clock in the morning, if your application set to auto update every hour, you'll quickly have the update. If you update this manually yourself and you wait 3 weeks, well, if you download this file with Bitdefender or scan it, Bitdefender is going to say it's clean. You have to have that new signature database. These companies down here at the bottom that say it's clean, they just aren't aware of this file or this hash value, or whatever mechanism VirusTotal is using to run it through their signature database just hasn't been updated. So just because you see Bitdefender says it's malicious, but yet Microsoft or Panda says it's clean, it doesn't mean that one company's better than another, because there's going to be times where this is flip-flopped, and somebody that said something was clean before now says it's malicious, and vice versa. So again, we'll use this file as an example. We'll go to details. Here again, here's the red flags. All the dates are right around the same time, and they're very recent. Definitely a red flag, because this is a brand new file on the internet. Now, if you're intending to download a brand new file on the internet, such as a Wireshark update or a Java update, well, it's going to be new when you look in this section. But again, think about how you came about the file. Did you yourself download it from a reputable website, such as the vendor that created the software? So now we go down here, and this is what I mean by the signature. All these different file names, and there's quite a bit of them, equal this hash value. So these security vendors that say it's clean just have to see it. And when we go to the relations tab, you're going to see, again, as I said, it was sent in an email. A lot of red flags here. Nothing in the community tab this time, but obviously there's enough red flags that you would never open this file. So I think that's enough examples to kind of get you started to look down to be able to start looking at things. And I guess we can take this one more extra credit, if you will. This says dfill.exe. Again, this is a known malicious file. I go to the details tab. Other than this outlier, everything is a current date. Well, these looks like an HP, some kind of HP thing. So maybe it's an HP printer. But these files right here, these file names are very random and have nothing to do with HP. If it was an HP file, it would be signed by the company. Even though it says it's signed by the Hewlett-Packard or the copyright Hewlett-Packard, it's not signed. So those are red flags. You go to the behavior. It says it opens, explore, execute, which may not be terrible, but when we go to the community, 5 unsafe votes. Somebody says it's malware. And again, payload security tells you a little more. So it's reaching out to these Russian domains and these IP addresses. So obviously this was enough to tell you it's malicious, but again, just learning the different tabs and the red flags to look for. I hope this has been helpful. Have a great afternoon or morning, whatever time it may be.